Now live. Welcome. Happy Talk Tuesday. We are. Thank you. We're telling your followers that you are live. Thank you. We are live. Happy Talk Tuesday. We are excited to be here. For another week, we said we were committing to the podcast. So this is commitment, and I'm excited to have our guest on today. She is a businesswoman, she is a mother, she's an entrepreneur, and so excited to hear about her story and her journey. She is in the room, so we will add her to the chat or to the conversation, and we will get started.
Hi,
Hello, happy Talk Tuesday. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I am well, thank you.
Good.
Uh, Thank you so much for saying yes and for being on this
Of
show.
course.
Um, I'm excited to hear your story, and I know that it is one that is due to inspire others. And so let's hop right in. Can you please share with us your who you are and what you are currently doing for work?
Well, my name is Renee. People like to call me Irene because my name says I Renee, but it's I Renee like an iPhone up here. And I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a salon owner. I'm a hairstylist. Um, and yeah, I do lots and lots of things, but that is the main thing that I do.
Okay,
So
great. So when you were a little
yes.
girl, Renee, what did you want to do when you grew up, and like what was the motivating factor behind that? Uh-oh, did I lose you? He's back, I think.
I'm back. I don't know what
Okay.
happened. It kicked me out.
Oh no.
But I did hear your question.
Okay.
When I was little, I actually wanted to be an art teacher. I had this really, really cool art teacher. I wish I could remember her name in fourth grade. And she was just so eccentric. She like wore colorful things. She was just out of the box. I went to like a predominantly Caucasian school when I was in fourth grade.
Mhm.
So she was black and she was the art teacher, and I just loved her. So I loved art. I loved going to art class. Like that was my jam. That was my thing.
Yep.
I'm a scrapbooker. Like I just love that type of stuff. So
Mhm.
I went home and I told my mom, like, I know what I want to do. I want to be an art teacher. And she was like, "You're gonna starve because teachers don't get paid any money." And I was just like, "Dag, like what to do now?" So I wanted to do that when I was a kid, and then I kind of switched to, well, if I can't do art, then I want something more stable. Then I'll just like, I'll be a nurse. I guess that's what all the other
Mhm.
Jamaicans in my family are doing. So
Mhm.
I'll just be a
Mhm.
nurse, I guess. And then when I got to high school and I kind of started to find my voice, I was like, I don't want to be a nurse
Mhm.
for real. I'll just be an English teacher because in my creative self, I also love to write as well. So I was like, I'll just be an English teacher and I'll do like with the teens. And I was working at a summer camp at the time, and I
Mhm.
just really connected with the youth. So I wanted to do that, and I went to Southern Connecticut State University
Okay.
for teaching. I got my bachelor's in English.
Wow.
So that was my childhood dreams.
Y-
What I
Okay,
wanted to
and
do.
so mom said early on, "Hey girl,
No,
that dream is not going to make you any
mm,
money."
no,
So I wonder, did you equate success to money, or how would you have defined it when you were at a younger age?
absolutely. I felt like in order to deem yourself as a successful adult, you had to have money. Like I'm
Mhm.
a first generation. So if you have money, that means you're successful because you can buy all the things that you want. You can provide for your family. Like you can do all the things that you need to do if money is not an issue. My mom worked very, very hard. She's a great example of just a hard worker.
Mhm.
So I saw that in her. I have that same type of work ethic. But now I don't look at success like that, more so just having quiet mornings and,
Mm,
knowing that everything is okay, that my child is taken care of, that things are just in place and it's like less, like minimal stressful moments, because life is going to have stress. But I feel like success is like peace and knowing who you
mm,
are. And it's just more than money, because people that we wouldn't think make a lot of money, they're like not happy. And they feel success in that because they're content
yep.
with, like, where their life is and things like that. So definitely has a completely different meaning for me now. Of course, we all want some money, but
Listen,
that's not everything.
yes, that is true. Money and the peace.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Um, okay, so you shared earlier what you're doing currently for work, and it is not working as an English teacher.
No,
So can
because I
you
don't like kids.
so can you share the path that you took from, you said you went to Southern, majored in English or in teaching, um, in
In
English,
English.
okay.
Yes.
And so can you give us sort of that journey and how you found your way to entrepreneurship?
Yes. So my mom moved to Atlanta my senior year in high school. Well, when I was graduating from high school, she was in the process of moving to Atlanta. So the plan was apply for colleges in Georgia. I applied to Georgia State. I applied to Clark Atlanta. I applied to, your Spelman and all
Hmm.
the schools. And I got accepted to Clark Atlanta. So I was like really excited to go down there and, like, be in the vibes.
Yep,
But
yep, yep.
their whole admission system was messed up. I went down there for orientation, and they had like no record of like my application. They had
Oh
no record of
no.
anything. So my mom paid for me to go down there to like do, the week there,
Hmm.
and they like, we don't know what you're talking about. We're not even having anything here. So scamming been out, because what? What was all of this? So at
Yikes.
that point, I felt very college bound. So I was like, well, I can't just not go to school. Like, it was a lot of
Mm-hmm.
pressure just being in a senior in high school, and like being the class president. I was a class president at my high school, and I was like, I can't not go to college. Like, this is the path. This is what you're supposed
It's
to
what you're
do, right?
supposed to do. Absolutely.
So I went to Southern, and when I was there, my mom still moved to Atlanta. So I'm supposed to be going away to school. This lady that went away to school, she left. So my brother's with her, and they left. So I was here, and I like got this little ounce of like freedom, and I was just so happy that I was just like, oh my God, nobody can tell me what to do. I can,
Hmm.
do what I want, all the things. But then your girl didn't have any money, and I was like, well, what can I do? So my
Mm-hmm.
freshman year of college, a friend of mine and myself, we were like, let's just do hair. I didn't know how to
Hmm.
braid. I didn't know how to do anything. People were coming to my dorm for a quick glue in for $40, and that worked for me. That got me a little fashion over
Listen,
fit
heard you.
for the Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night party, and it was okay. And then it was just kind of word of mouth. Everybody was like, "Oh, this girl, she was doing hair in her dorm." And then
Hmm.
I got my own apartment my sophomore year, and I was like, I need to learn how to braid, because I'm not really a quick weave type of girl. Even now that it's like coming back around
Hmm.
more full swing. I wanted to sew, but I was sending people to the Africans to go get their hair
I
braided and
see.
then sew in after that. And I was like, this is really inconvenient for the client. Like, if I was a client, would I want to have to go one place to go get my hair done somewhere
Right,
else? So then
right,
at
right.
that point, I felt like I was just thinking of my target audience.
Hmm.
And at that point, it's like, we don't have cars. We're like taking the bus. So now you
Right,
got to take the bus
right.
to go get your hair,
Yep.
take the bus to go get it braided, and then take the bus to come get it sewn in. You might as well pay the $85 at that point. So
That's
that's what I
true.
did. I learned how to braid on my first couple of clients, and that's pretty much how my entrepreneurship journey began, because people don't stop wanting to get their hair done. And when you find a hairstylist that you love and that you connect with and that you can have conversations with and that's
Hmm.
flexible and, working with you, like, you don't want to let them go. So like, they're planning for me far in advance. They're like, oh well, for graduation in 2 years, I'm gonna want this. I'm just like, girl, who said I was gonna be doing this in 2 years? And now we are well beyond the graduation in 2010 to
Yes.
about to walk into 225, and I'm still doing it. So
Wow,
it
wow,
was
wow.
a lot.
So,
And
okay, so graduation
that's my
comes,
friend here. She said we were in the trenches, yes, in my house getting the $40 sewing with the big braids. They
but
still come. No, I love them so
I love
bad.
Love it. But look how far you've come. Okay, so you're no longer
Yeah.
in the house doing the
No.
$40 glue. You said glue ins,
They
right?
wish.
Right.
They wish I was doing that.
So how did you transition to did you jump right in and get your own location first, or how did that work?
No. So I was doing hair from home for a while. I even got an apartment that had two bedrooms so that I could have the
Mm,
extra room as a place for me to do
mhm.
hair because I always had like a 9 to 5
Okay.
job. So even though I didn't want to teach anymore, it was like in the back of my mind, my mom was still like, "Well, what's your real job? Because doing hair is
Hmm.
not a real job." So I worked in the social work field, doing home visits to families. I worked in group homes. I've done all these different things. I just did hair around whatever schedule was created for me.
Hmm.
So I was organizing that way to say, okay, I work these days, but then I'm gonna do hair in these evenings, or I do work at second shift. I'll do hair during first
Yep.
shift. So just again, that hard worker mentality has always been there. But then I got married, and I was like, oh, we should really start saving for a house. And my mom had a house, so I was like, let's just move in my mom's basement. She has a raised ranch. We can go there. We wanted to pay any rent. Let's just save up so
Hmm.
that we can then purchase our own
Yep.
home, and that's how that would go. But she lived like in a suburb, and I was
Mm.
like, my clients are not. They take the bus here. It wasn't Uber for real, yeah, at that time, but it just wasn't convenient. Like I
Yep.
always lived on a place that was like metropolitan,
Hmm.
so I was like, I need to find a place that is still good for my clients, but also close to my job because I still had a
Yep.
job.
Yep.
And luckily, I found this suite that was like right across the street from my job, so I could like leave and act like I was going to a home visit, and I would just like spin around the block and go do somebody's hair. So
Love
everything
it.
is divine in the way that God sets my life up. So I'm grateful for that. But I had to get the space because my living situation changed. So I went from a suite, like, oh, why would I be here alone? Let me just call some of these girls that was my lead kids and see what they're doing. I see them doing hair on the internet. I see them braiding. I see them doing this, and
Shout out
it
to
just
Leap.
really, yes, lead. It definitely just evolved from there. Like I didn't think that I was gonna actually be a hairstylist. I was just doing friends and family, and then I do your hair. You my homegirl. Now you telling your friend, oh,
Hmm.
she did my hair. This girl Renee, and then it just kind of spread like wildfire.
Hmm.
And then these people should stay right here with this light coming in. Anyway, um, it just kind of spread, and then people were just coming and booking. So it's like, oh well, girl, you need to book a booking site. You need a website. You need to really formalize this entire situation because people are coming
Hmm.
and people are booking. And luckily, I wasn't home anymore because home kind of put a cap on who could come here. I don't want strangers coming to my house because it's still
Hmm.
my house
Yep.
and the energies and things like that. So being in a public place really opened the doors for more clientele.
Hmm.
So that's how I got there. And then the demand for one of the stylists that was working with me, her name is Molly. She's still with me now. She's my salon manager. But back then, she was my assistant, and then she started taking her own clients. And she went to cosmetology school, and she was like, "Yeah, Renee, we can't do this sweet life anymore because there's no sinks in here. It was a
Hmm.
dry shop. People just coming for braids and weave." And
Hmm.
she was like, "I just paid, 20 plus thousand dollars for school, and I want to do the things that I learned at school."
Love that.
So her push to me was like, "I'm gonna have to leave if you can't get me somewhere so I can do the things that I learned how to do." So I'm really grateful for her just challenging me
Hmm.
and grateful for my abandonment issues because that's the only, I was like, I don't want her to leave me. I gotta figure something out. So that's what happened there.
Okay. So
So
at
that's
what
how
point
the
did
Trachouse was born.
Trackhouse? Okay.
Hmm.
But now you have hair as well as a mini suite. So how did you like it feels like you see something that's missing, you keep adding to your business and your
Yes.
offerings.
So the way that I look at entrepreneurship is that you are supposed to listen to your clients and you're supposed to solve problems. Like you obviously can't do everything. But in the midst of the pandemic in 2020, we had to close down
Hmm.
my location that I had. And luckily, we didn't have to close our doors for good like some people had to do. Like God is amazing.
Hmm.
But we definitely had
Yep.
everybody had to close. And then when people came back and we had to do all these different protocols and things, it was like, Dad, Trachouse is really, we're taking people's temperatures, like we're nurses up in here. We making everybody wash their hands. We doing all the sanitation, all of the rules, just doing everything that we're supposed to do. And they were like, I just really wish I had somewhere to get my nails done. I really wish I had somewhere to get my eyebrows done, because we were already offering makeup at the time.
Okay.
But they just wanted additional services. So I was like, this is a time of, let's expand and do what the clients are asking us, because if you only got to take your temperature one time, it's lit. You could just, And then at the time, my friend Latrell, who owns the Brown Skin Co., she had just utilized the months that we were in the pandemic to reevaluate her whole entire life, and she was like, she wants to be an esthetician. So I'm like, well, this is great. People can get their vaginas waxed, they can get their teeth whitened, they can get everything. Like, the Trachouse is a one-stop shop. Like, you don't have to go anywhere else for your beauty needs, because we got your back. And it's literally, at the time, it was 2 locations, so we were kind of like in walking distance of one another. So people would just leave one spot and then go to the beauty lounge and go do the things that they had to do. So they would get their hair done and then just kind of zoom over and they could get everything else done. So it was just like a really divine situation that that spot was open right there. Everybody go see the Brown Skin Co. for your waxing and facial needs.
Yes,
and she's still there. So we that space had like 7 entrepreneurs, but when I got there, I was like, I'm doing a lot with the hairstylist at this location, like, doing Instagrams, doing all type of stuff. Like, it was just like I was managing their businesses, but they were all independent contractors. And I was like, I can't add 7 more women to the team and do the same thing. So when I was looking for them, I wanted them all to have their own businesses already going. Like, I want them to have their own booking sites. I wanted to have their own clientele and their own stuff. And this is just a place for you to manage your own business inside of the house. That's what I wanted. So in finding those independent people, it was less managing for me to do. And that model worked really well. So still fusing the Trachouse culture into what they already had going on and just providing the space. Fast forward to 2022, my lease was up at my original location, so we had to leave. So I found this 3,000 square foot space, and I was like, let's just move everybody there. But I didn't want to lose my space downtown New Haven, because it's emerging into this amazing place that we still haven't seen what it's about to be yet, but it's coming. So to lose a space in this kind of prime area just wouldn't be the best thing, like, for me. So in 2022, I moved everyone over, but I left the Brown Skin Co. there, and then we added Minx Wax by Jazz and kind of changed the whole thing into just suites. So now there's 3 suites over there, to still give them that still autonomy of managing their own businesses, which is great. So like, I never go there. I go there to get a wax and drop off tissue, and I don't even really do that for real. They hold it down over there. I don't have to go there for anything. So just listening to the clients has expanded my business.
Thank you for sharing that. So what's something that you know now that you wish you had known sooner?
I think that in the beginning, with most entrepreneurs, you know how to do what you know how to do. Like, I know how to sew. I can do a sewing. I can do that with my eyes closed. Like, I know how to do that. But all the other things, like, you don't learn unless you have experience. And like, a lot of us didn't go to school for business management or financial management or entrepreneur. Like, nobody went to school for, people do go to school, but like, if you're just like passionate and it's just kind of like it's built in you, you're just like jumping in like head first, about to drown. And every day is like a lesson. So I don't wish I knew anything in the beginning. All of these experiences that I've had really attribute to what's going on. And I'm just grateful to have like a really great, like, amazing team that's like, yeah, this didn't work, so let's try this. But they know that it's all about growth and about the journey. Like, it's been 8 years that Trachouse has been, official and thriving and doing all the things. Thank you so much. But every day I learn something new. So I don't wish I knew anything in advance. I'm happy for the journey that I've been on.
What advice would you give to someone who is looking to, I'll say one, be an entrepreneur, or even entrepreneur, because you sort of teetered that line for a little while.
Hmm.
And then secondly, the if someone was looking to, um, start a business as a stylist.
Um, I would say that you have to build relationships within the stylist community. Like I have really positive relationships with a lot of people in the beauty industry overall because I knew
Mhm,
what I wanted to do. So I think just relationships really carry you throughout entrepreneurship, period. Because there's gonna be times where you could pay somebody to do something, and it's gonna be times where you gotta barter with somebody to do something.
that's
And the more
good.
relationships you have, the easier it makes for you. So not even just in the beauty industry, but like I know plumbers that I can call right now if the sinks are going crazy and they'll come to the rescue. I don't have to call or wait till tomorrow until Rooter Man opens up. My homeboy work at Rooter Man. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I think
Mhm,
that relationships are best. Like, don't burn bridges. A lot of young entrepreneurs, especially in the beauty industry, I feel like they take their clients for granted.
mhm,
Like they feel like, oh, I can just get another client, or but it's like you never know who's gonna sit in your chair. You never know how a person could benefit you. Like I have lawyers that are my clients, and when I was transitioning from one space into this larger space with, having to just deal with the banks and deal with like loans and just all the things that come with elevating your business. I was able to call them and they weren't like, oh,
mhm,
Renee, it's going to be 250 for me to look over your contract for an hour. They were just like, whatever you need. So
mhm,
relationships are like super duper important in any aspect of life, but especially in entrepreneurship because you don't know who you're going to need, who you're going to need to call, what time you're going to need to call them. It's not like you can just call HR and say, I got a problem. You are HR. So, like in the beginning stages of any startup, it's important to go in with relationships. I think that that is the biggest thing I can give to anybody to just make sure that you know somebody and know somebody. Because definitely about who you know.
I would agree. I would agree
Yeah.
wholeheartedly. Okay, so I am obviously the host of this podcast, but I also have started an apparel and accessories brand called Affirmed Armor, where we
Yeah.
remind you of a truth that you've forgotten about yourself. And so, can you share with us one of your go-to affirmations or mantras?
Um, I don't really have an affirmation, but the scripture that I often think about is to whom much is given, much is required.
Mhm.
um, because entrepreneurship and life, especially this life that we're all living together on this earth, is mad hard. It's always something going on. You think that everything is going good. You just put gas in your car, now your light want to come on. Like, what's going on?
What is
So
going
I feel
on?
like God doesn't give us things that we're not equipped to handle. So I have to always remind myself of like, you could do this, Renee. And when stuff is really hard, I don't say, why is this happening to me? I say, what is God trying to teach me in this moment? Because I know that it has to be something, because this ain't for nothing. But then again, once it happens again, or if the issue or something arises again, I know how to handle it with grace. And because I went in saying, all right, this is hard. I'm going to cry. I'm going to, whatever. But what is God trying to teach me from this? So, to whom much is given, much is required. And I have a friend, his name is Lamar, and he always calls me to pray with me. And every time he's like, what are we praying about today? I'll say something. And he said, what do we say, sis? What do we say? And I'm like, to whom much is given, much is required. Like, all right, I heard you. I got it. So that is one of my go-to scriptures that I always say to get myself
Thank you for sharing
in
that. And
check.
yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, so we are coming to the end of the show. I want to say thank you so much again for being on and
Of
sharing your
course.
journey. I am the amateur expert and I know just a little bit about a lot. So is there something that you can share with me that I can say that you taught me?
Um, I had a mentor. She actually passed away in COVID. Her name is Sharon Clemens, and she
Mm-hmm.
would always hold hair dressing and cosmetology to such a high esteem because she's like, this is the only profession that you start and end with. When you come out of your mother's womb, they're washing your hair, you getting the shampoo, you getting the little brush, and then when you die, there's somebody fixing your hair to go down. So, hairdressing has been around for over 4,000 years as an actual profession. So, I think that that is a fact that maybe people don't know.
That is
So,
dope.
that's what
And
I
I've
think.
never even thought about it in that way. Thank
She
you.
always says that. She always says that, from the baby age to postmortem, like a hairdresser is involved.
Mhm.
so,
Wow.
so yeah.
Thank
Hmm.
you. So how can
Yeah.
we support you? How do people follow you? Is there anything that you have coming up?
Well, right now it's thank God it's our busy season. So people are coming in to get their hair done. They're getting all their services done for their holiday parties and things like that. So if you are looking to get any beauty service done, head to toe, you can come on down to the Track House. You can follow us at Track House on Instagram or at Track House Beauty Lounge. The staff is immense. We do mostly all things. Like there's some, we're slowly hiring if anybody looking for a job.
Okay, amen.
But
That's positive.
yes, so you guys can just follow us and shop with us, book appointments with us, share our things to spread the vibe throughout the world. We had like 3 phone calls today asking if we were located in Atlanta. I said, God, what you trying to say? Are you
Hmm.
trying to say that that's where we need to
Expansion.
be? Exactly. So just continue to share and spread the Track House vibe, love, and culture. If you can't make it in, just share something. We are very funny and very entertaining over at the Track House page. So if you are looking for a laugh, just go over there. You can catch me rolling on the floor or doing something crazy in the shop.
Perfect. So we'll have all the acts in the show notes. Again, thank you so much for being on the show today. And I hope
Absolutely.
everyone that's listening has a great rest of their day, and we will see you next week. Bye,
Thank you so much,
everyone.
Ashley.